Hello guys, welcome back to another video where I'm going to tell you guys how to create a digital marketing proposal. Now, digital marketing proposal is something that almost every prospect in the industry asks for because everyone wants to understand your strategy, your roadmap before they are willing to invest money in you. And that is why a marketing proposal is one of the most important aspects of closing a client. And since a lot of people have started getting interest in this digital marketing and are trying to become a freelancer digital marketer mainly, they all need to understand how to create a proper marketing proposal. Now, I'm not saying that my proposal strategy is the best out there, but maybe it might help you because it helps me in closing clients. And I'm not really a fan of creating huge or like large proposals. Like if I look at this proposal, this is like hardly 16 slides if I remove this title slide. So I don't really believe in creating lengthy proposals. I only believe in creating simple and short proposals which are to the point so that client can understand or the prospect can understand what is your game, what is your roadmap, what is your strategy. So let's dive into my proposal and see what have I created for this particular client. Now this is a e-learning client and he wanted to sell his course online using his website. Now, so I created a PPC ad strategy for this client because he wanted paid advertisement mainly. So let's go through the proposal and see what I did there. So the first important part of the proposal. Okay, my face is gone. I'm back. All right. So the first part of the proposal is you need to have a title slide, which should clearly mention not digital marketing proposal something, but actual the objective of the client. In this case, the objective is online sales generation. This way, this gives an idea to the client or to the prospect that you understand what actually you're looking for. When we talk about digital marketing is a huge concept, and the client is not looking for the entire digital marketing at once, but he or she is only looking for some specific things in digital marketing which can help him achieve his or her objectives. So it is really important. So instead of writing a digital marketing proposal, you should mention like what exactly the client requires. Suppose in this case, online sales generation. So I put the title as that, online sales generation, and then your agency name or logo, whatever you prefer. Let's move on to the second slide, which is this one. So in the second slide, mainly what I do is I usually write the marketing objective of the client. Right now, this is basically to convey to the client that I understand his or her requirements, what exactly the person is looking for. So I write very brief, like 3 points or more than that. So let's look at this client's objective. To attract the target audience to our e-learning platform and convince them to opt for our courses. Right? Simple. We want to attract the target audience to offer our courses from our website. Now this will be accomplished by finding the right marketing channels through which we can attract quality traffic. Now understand, we don't know which is the right marketing channel right now. We can say we can run Google ads, we can run Facebook ads, we can run XYZ, but we actually don't know from which channel we're going to get the best and the quality lead in the most economical cost. So we need to make sure that we mention that this can be accomplished by finding the right marketing channels. You don't have to mention that we're just going to use Google ads or Facebook ads. We need to mention right marketing channels through which we can attract quality traffic, right? Now, the third is the goal will help in getting massive traction and accelerate growth. So basically, what eventually this goal will do to the client just to give him a growth story that okay, if you're going to use the right marketing channels and we achieve our objectives, then we're going to get traction, we're going to get growth, right? So it is really important to mention the marketing objective in the second slide, as per me, because it helps the prospect to understand or the client to understand that yes, you understand his or her requirements, and and he thinks that okay, this proposal is relevant for me, right? Now let's go to the fourth slide. Now in the fourth slide, what is happening is I have given a very simple lead nurturing pyramid. So this is something not new. Everyone knows marketing funnels, marketing pyramids. So something I just created something out of myself. One of the principles that I follow in my proposal is that I like to be transparent with everything. I want to show A to Z journey to the client in a general way, not in a very specific way. I want to be very transparent and upfront to the client to so that I'm not hiding anything from him or her, or he doesn't get this concept of any hidden cost in the entire proposal, right? So let's look at this this lead nurturing pyramid. So the reason why I have called this lead nurturing pyramid is because we want to generate online sales. We want to generate online leads, basically people who want to offer our courses, right? So I have divided this pyramid into three things. Now these are again nothing new. These are very familiar marketing terms: the core channels, the secondary channels, and the retention channels. So what is basically core channels? So core channels is basically like our primary channels, from which we are going to attract a cold audience, right? A little bit about the three types of audiences, if for the people who doesn't know what they are. So there are three audiences as per digital marketing or marketing in general: the cold audience, the warm audience, and the hot audience. So the cold audience is basically those audience who doesn't know or have no idea about our product or service, and they're hearing it for the first time. Warm audiences who have visited our page or have heard about us, and the hot audiences that they are almost like they have tried our product once and now we want them to try it once again, right? So basically, the purpose of cold channels is to attract the cold audience so that they get to know about our product and experience what we are offering. The secondary channels are then the purpose of nurturing the warm audience. Now, basically, the warm audience, people who have visited the website but have not opted for a product or opted for a service. So, we're going to use secondary channels, which basically consist of remarketing, to get these people back to our product or service and convince them to opt for it. And the retention channels is that for the hot audience, people who have already tried our product or service. Now, sometimes, once you have tried a product and you're launching another product or another service, you want the hot audience to know about it. So that is where the retention channels comes in, right? So now this is a basic picture. Now I have told my client or my prospective that, hey, I'm not going to let any of the person go away from your marketing funnel. They're all going to be in the same picture from cold to hot. I'm going to take care of all of them with the help of this lead nurturing pyramid. Now, how I have divided this lead nurturing funnel in the marketing channels is going to come to the next slide. Here is the next slide, right? Now, I have laid out a roadmap of how I'm going to target each marketing channel in the different pyramid steps. So, for example, in the core channel, I have defined my primary channels to be Google ads, TikTok or Snapchat ads, and Facebook/Instagram, right? In my secondary channels, which is basically for my remarketing, I have decided to go for Google and YouTube remarketing and Facebook Messenger remarketing, right? And in third channel, which is retention channel, I have decided to go to uh, email marketing, social media marketing, and YouTube. Now, even though this is a PPC ads proposal, I have did mention social media marketing and email marketing in here, because these are for retention channels. This is something which comes after a very at the end of the marketing funnel. So we don't have to focus on that in the beginning. But I have given a roadmap to the client to create a picture in his mind that, okay, this guy has figured things out in his mind. He knows what he's doing. He has given me a step-wise process that, okay, we're going to start with the core channels first, and then we're going to go with the secondary channels first, and we're going to go with the retention channels. So there's a systematic approach here, and when there's a systematic approach, when a person can understand in his or her mind that, okay, I know what is step one, I know what is step two, I know what is step three, and I can understand it is easy, then he will or she will have more trust on you. They will think that, okay, yeah, this person has a good idea of generating things, and he can really help me out in meeting my objectives. So as I have also mentioned here, that lay out a roadmap of channels you will be using to achieve the objectives. So basically, you need to tell the person how you're going to achieve the objectives. Everyone knows that, yeah, I can use Google ads, I can use Facebook ads, I can use XYZ platform or social media marketing or SEO, but in which way are you going to use it? So instead of giving it in a very in-depth picture to the client, instead of revealing my entire strategy, I just gave a general approach to the person. I just told him that, hey, I'm going to divide my entire strategy into three channels. The core channels, I'm going to use this. In secondary channel, I'm going to use this, and in my retention channel, I'm going to this. This is the purpose is to make sure that I'm going to have the uh, target audience tuned into the funnel and don't let any funnel leakages happening, right? Now let's move to the next slide, where I'm going to tell why I'm going to use this thing. Like, it is also important to tell, you have told the client that how I'm going to achieve the objectives, but the client will have in mind that why are you using this particular roadmap. So let's go to the next slide and see what is going to happen. So here we go. So the objective of the pyramid, the purpose of dividing our efforts into three segments to make sure that our audience doesn't leave a marketing funnel, and if they leave, then getting them back will become costly for us. It is a fact. Once a warm audience comes in, closing them becomes much more easier than a cold audience. And if we are letting our warm audience go away from us, we are letting our warm audience to forget about us, then it's going to be costly. Once again, I'm going to have to pay double the cost to actually get them back. So this is the why I have told the client in this particular uh, proposal, and it's a very simple proposal so that even he can understand that, okay, yeah, if I'm not going to keep the people in my marketing funnel, they're going to leave, and getting them back will be costly. And this is a fact in the digital marketing as well, that uh, a particular audience which have already heard about us, and if we don't remind that particular person about us within 1 or 2 weeks, then he's going to forget about us, because he's indulging, or she's indulging with, so interacting with so many brands on a daily basis. So we need to make sure that we are always on top of his or her mind, and that can only happen through secondary channels or e-marketing channels. So as you can see, I've also commented here that you have told the client how you will achieve the objective, and now it is time to tell why you're using this method. So I have told the client in the proposal, in the previous slides, that how I'm going to achieve the objectives that he has defined for me, and why I'm going to use this particular roadmap to achieve those objectives. Sorry. So as you can see, this far I haven't created any in-depth thing. I haven't created any what do you call it, like lay out any in-depth things, like I have gone into like what campaigns I'm going to use in Google Ads, what campaigns I'm going to use in Facebook Ads, but I have just given the person a general overview, because no one wants to need to understand the details until and unless he or she knows about Google Ads or Facebook Ads or any other XYZ social media platform or online platform. But a person who doesn't have any idea about the platforms is not really interested in knowing the in-depth details, but he's more interested in knowing a general overview. He's more interested in how you, as a digital marketer, as a PPC ad specialist, is going to help him or her achieve his objectives, right? So, so this is a basic view in this proposal, in this short proposal. Like in 5 slides, I have defined the marketing objectives to make sure the client understands that to make sure to convey to the client, sorry, that I understand his marketing objectives. Then I have told the client that how I'm going to achieve those marketing objectives, and why I believe this particular roadmap is a good picture, or is a good idea in achieving those objectives. Right, now let's move on to the next slide and see what I have there. Now, this is a very important aspect in digital marketing, that you the purpose of pay-per-click ad, because this is a proposal for a pay-per-click client. So it is really important that before I start any campaign, or before you start any campaign, your digital assets are what do you call it, your digital assets are properly optimized. Let's just say there. So for example, in this case, because this is an online course platform, so our digital assets is course pages, website speed, and user experience. Now, when I direct the traffic from my pay-per-click ad to the course page, and it takes more than 5 seconds for the page to load in mobile view or desktop view, then I'm going to have a huge bounce rate, and people are not going to load the page, because they want things to go instant. And of course, why not? In this era of high speed internet, everyone wants to load things faster, and if my page is taking more than 5 seconds, people will get frustrated and they will leave, right? Then the second is, of course, the third point is uh, the second point is the course page, that is basically that it should be mobile friendly. Like now, majority of people are going to use mobile phones to check out my website or check out my digital assets, and if my mobile experience is not really good, which is basically my user experience is not really good, then they're going to get frustrated and leave once again. Hey, your client is not your brother, sister, your audience is not your brother, sister, or friend. They're just a random person, and if they are not getting a good experience, they're gonna just leave. Understand that. And the quote, first impression is the last impression, matters a lot in digital marketing, right? So you need to tell the client the problems. So the purpose of this entire slide is to tell the client that, okay, hey, my job is to make sure that I get you the results, but before I can get the results, I need to make sure that your digital assets are in place. So I'm telling the client that we have to work as a team here to make sure that we attain the marketing objectives. And now I'm stating the problems that the client already has. That is okay, whether his course page is right or not, whether his website speed is right or not, whether his user experience is right or not. I'm going to do the entire audit. I'm going to tell you that, okay, we need to improve this, and then only we can start with the campaigns, right? Now, let's move on to the next slide. Now, in this next slide, I have defined the key performance indicators, commonly known as KPIs, uh, in the digital marketing world. Now, it is really important to define the KPIs from the beginning to make sure both the client and you understand that what we have to measure and what is the basis of analyzing our performance or my performance as a digital marketer or a PPC ad specialist, right? Now, uh, here I like to define one major like the primary KPI, and then I define sub KPIs to make the performance analysis easy for me, and also to make sure that I understand which channel is working better and which channel is not, right? So here, if you look at it, the number one KPI, of course, we need to measure is number of sales. How many sales are we getting? Are we even getting any sales or not? Because sales is the ultimate objective of the client, right? That is his concern, that he only wants to get sales, right? Now, the rest of the secondary KPIs is for me to make sure I get the best results to the client. Now, quality traffic, cost per acquisition. If I'm not going to get quality traffic, then no one's going to opt for my sales. Now, the second challenge is that if I'm getting quality traffic and my cost is really high, then what's the point of even selling the course? I need to get that thing low. And then the third KPIs are channels and placement. From which channel and the particular placement I'm getting the best quality traffic and cost per acquisition. Now, channel here refers to means Google ads, Facebook ads. These are my channels, and placement means, for example, Google search campaign, Google display campaign, YouTube ads, or Facebook newsfeed, Instagram newsfeed, etc. So these are the placements. So I have went here very in depth to make sure that I understand in these secondary objectives from which channel and placement I'm getting quality traffic at the most economical cost possible, so that I can generate the best results for the client, so that at the end of the day I can also get paid and he also remains happy, right? So guys, it is really important to define your marketing KPIs before you launch any campaign, so that the client knows on what basis he or she has to uh, what do you call it analyze your performance, and on which basis you need to analyze your performance as well, right? Having a common ground is really important, and a common understanding between you and the client is really important when it comes to service based industries. No matter whether it is digital marketing or any other services, your mindset and client's mindset should be on the same level, so that there's no confusion and both the parties remain happy, right? Now let's move on to the next slide. Now, here I have given a general picture of the marketing flow of this is my process of how uh, I, as a PPC ad specialist, decide to run a campaign, or how I execute a campaign in the first month when I onboard a client. So I start with the creation of a customer persona, then I start working on the development of ad copy, then I launch the campaigns, and then I do data and KPI analysis either in the first week or in the last week of the first month, depending upon campaign to campaign or depending upon client to client, how much time does it actually take to get the sufficient data to perform an analysis, right? Because if we don't have sufficient data, then our conclusions, our analysis will not be right. So it is really important to get sufficient data to actually get better analysis. So here in this slide, I have tell my approach to the client that, hey, I have told you that, okay, this is this is the roadmap, and but how I'm going to execute that roadmap is going to be in this marketing flow. So now client have a more better picture that, okay, I know the roadmap, and I also know that how this particular person is going to execute the roadmap, right? So again, this helps in building trust in the mindset of the client for me, right? Now let's move on to the next slide. Here, this is just a fancy slide that I've added. You can either uh, add it, or you can either or you can remove it. That is up to you. So this slide doesn't really have a very what do I call it? It has a very important significance in the proposal. I've just tell creation of customer persona, given a general view that, okay, how I create a customer persona. So what is the age, what is the goal, area of concern, our marketing message, just to make sure that our marketing message, our ad copies is consistent throughout the multiple channels that I use. So this is something you can add or you cannot add. I'm going to discuss this in much further, right? Then again, this is another fancy slide that I've added, which is development of ad content. If you want to remove it, you can. If you don't want to remove it, I mean, if you want to add it, you can. If you want to remove it, then it is totally up to you. Like this, these two slides doesn't really have a major significance in the proposal. This is just with the perspective to make when you're presenting the proposal is to give you some extra content there to help the client understand that okay, how you're going to develop the ad content and how you're going to create a customer persona. Now in case where the client doesn't where you don't have to present the proposal physically to the client, like you coming on a Zoom call and discussing with it, then you don't have to add these sort of a slides. You can skip these slides. Now the third one is the campaign launch, of course. I have defined in a stepwise format here that, okay, the first week is going to be a test run, then I'm going to analyze the performance, I'm going to optimize the campaign, and I'm going to do A/B testing, I'm going to do data analysis. So this is to make sure to understand that client doesn't, make a picture that from the first week I'm going to get the best results from the campaign. This is to give a transparent picture to the client that, hey, you're not going to get the best results in the first week. It's going to take me 1 month, or it's going to take me 2 weeks, or it's going to take me 3 weeks to actually start getting you some good results. So you need to be transparent with the client from the first go. You cannot promise him that, hey, I'm just going to start the campaign, you're going to get tons of leads within 1 day or 2 day. You need to be realistic. You need to be very, very transparent to make sure there's no unexpected or hidden expectations from the client's end as well. Client thinks that, oh, I have my campaign is just launched and now I'm going to get results. You have to be honest, man. No one gets results so quickly. It's a one in a million moon when you start getting results from the first day or first 2 days. You need to understand this, that I have seen a lot of digital marketers or growth hackers, making uh, promises that they cannot fulfill. Like they're like, hey, yeah, I'm going to get you the best results in first week. I'm going to get you the best results in within 3 days, and that is not possible. One freelancer told one of my clients that he can get the landing page experience to a score of 8 out of 10, or an average or above average score within 3 days, and it took me for like more than 1 month to actually get average score on a landing page experience in Google Ads. I'm talking about this. So there's no benefit in lying to the client. You have to be transparent. You have to be very, very authentic. You don't want to lose the client. You want to build a relationship with him or her, and when you build a relationship, the person is not going to leave you easily. When you tell the client honestly that, hey, this is the reality picture, this is a practical picture, and this is how we're going to achieve it. Of course we're going to fail, because every marketing campaign fail and success and failure is part of marketing campaigns. And we just need to keep on testing things out. We need to keep on testing things out and see which is going to work, which is not going to work. So you have to have faith in me, and this faith can only be developed when you build a relationship with the client, and instead of just hope for getting your payments cleared. Focus on client retention than just having the client for 1 month and then say tata bye bye. That doesn't make sense, guys. When you create a relationship with the client, you create a network with him, and therefore you can create a referral network for yourself. And when you create a referral network, it is easy to get more and more clients, and you don't even have to create proposals all the time then, once your existing clients start referring you to other clients. So understand the long term game, don't play it in a short term, right? So before I move forward, I want to remind you guys once again that, hey, be authentic to the client, build a relationship, then thinking of how much I'm going to charge this client. You build a relationship, it becomes a long-term game. The client will have trust on you, and he's going to be there for you with a long, long time, right? Let's move on to the next slide. Now, this next thing is basically for those people who have case studies with them, right? Sometimes it is important to include case studies in the proposal as well. Now, especially in those proposals where you have to present it to the prospect or to the client over a Zoom or Google Meet call or physically, right? Now, because everyone's going to ask that, hey, okay, this is the roadmap that you have defined for me, but have you tried this roadmap on any other client, and what type of results you get? Of course, as a person who's thinking to give his money to me, he or she's going to have this particular question in mind that, hey, have you ever tried this roadmap? Have you ever tried this strategy on someone else and how it worked? So this is the case study comes in there. Some people just put in case study and show like, hey, yeah, okay, I have got this particular type of result, and blah blah blah, and the case study doesn't really make sense in the proposal. But here you have to be very systematic even with the case study, and you have to tell that, hey, I use the same roadmap to this XYZ client, and uh, what can I say? Okay, I'm forgetting the word. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, let's forget about it. I don't know what I was thinking. So coming back to the point. So basically, the case study has to be, uh, you know, uh, relevant to the roadmap that you have left it. For example, in this case, this case study is of Irish Concertina lessons. Now, this is basically a website where you can offer Irish Concertina, which is an instrument in a musical instrument, and this particular client was selling her video courses on the website. So see, this particular case study is relevant to the e-learning proposal that I am creating for the client, right? So this is a very relevant case study or a very relevant example of the roadmap that I have mentioned in the previous slides. So this is what I was saying where I got confused basically. I'm sorry for that. That your case study has to be relevant. Your case study should reflect the roadmap or the strategy or the general view that you have explained in the previous slides in this proposal, right? So let's see. So the case study, basically I define the challenge similar to the marketing objectives that I defined in the uh, second slide in the proposal. So the client wanted to improve the sales of her online starter course. She was already running Google Ads but was not able to scale the campaigns. The sales number were declining on monthly from the past 3 months. Were declining on monthly basis from past 3 months, right? So this was the challenge that the this particular client was facing. That okay, she was what do you call it? She was already running Google Ads, Facebook Ads, so she was facing a particular decline in the sales from past 3 months, and the campaigns were not working properly. So let's see what I did here, right? So I defined the roadmap that I mentioned in the previous slides in the three boxes. Like I defined the lead nurturing pyramid, I defined the secondary retention channels, and I executed content strategy. Now the reason in the second box I have only said defined secondary retention channels because she was already running paid campaigns to attract the primary channels. So her problem was actually not to attract the cold audience because they were already coming from the campaigns, but to actually convert the audience which have already visited the website and are not opting for the course, or people who have already opted for the course is not opting for the advanced course or whatever XYZ course she was offering other than the basic course, right? So that's why I mentioned here defined secondary intention channels and then executed the content strategy. Now this is the results that I got for her, and I mentioned an analytics, a Google Analytics screenshot here, that to look more authentic, that hey, yeah, see, look, from Google Organic we did SEO and we got 67 leads. From Google CPC we got 21 courses in the past 1 month, and from uh, yeah, that's it. So we were using SEO and we were using Google CPC to as our retention and secondary channels to um, generate courses or boost the courses for this particular client from first month. Now this is a very long ago case study, honestly, and I don't remember much. The client is no longer with me because she decided to stop her courses for some time. So yeah. So here and then in the last chapter, I gave numbers, right, guys? Numbers are really important. Numbers help people understand. Uh, sorry, numbers help people understand that what sort of results you actually got for the client. You can say that I get this much leads, but at what cost possible? Like, people want to know that okay, you got sales for that person, but what was the cost of acquisition? Because cost of acquisition matters a lot in digital marketing. If you're paying a huge cost of acquisition just to get a particular lead or a sales, then what is the point of even running ROI? So you have to show this picture as well, that hey, my market spend on 1,000 euros, and I generated a revenue of 8,000, and my cost of acquisition was only 3 euros. So see, that's a good deal for me, isn't it? Right? Perfect. And this is the end of the proposal, guys. I think so. This is the end of the proposal. I did not miss anything. Perfect. So guys, this is the end of the proposal. As you can see, this was a very, very short proposal, and I honestly don't like to create huge proposals because A, it is a waste of my time, and B, I know that the client is not going to go through the entire proposal. He's just gonna skip slides. He's just gonna glance at them and he's gonna like, okay. At the end of the day, proposal is an important aspect, uh, but it is your own capability, your own communication skills, which is going to help you to close the client. So proposal is just a medium to let the client know about your mindset, that hey, this is what I'm thinking in my mind to get you the results. And a lot of people create very lengthy proposals. I've seen quite YouTube videos where they're creating proposals which are like 20 plus or 30 plus, which is okay, which is for like, entire digital marketing. And and even though having a 30-page proposal still doesn't make sense to me, even if it is for entire digital marketing, even if it is an entire digital marketing proposal which consists of SEO, PPC, social media marketing. I don't really believe in that. I believe in creating short proposals so that I can save my time and I can also save my clients' time, and start getting things rolling as fast as quickly. Now, I just want to give you another, what do you call it, note, I can say, or a announcement, that I no longer create proposals for my client anymore. I simply close them with communication. Like I go with them on a call, I go with them on a second call, and on a third call I tell them a roadmap, verbally, that hey, this is what we're going to do. Because honestly, I earlier, when I was creating uh, proposals, I was if I send proposals to 10 clients, I was only closing like 2 or 3. But then the moment that I stopped sending proposal, and I said, hey, I can't make proposal, but I can tell you, I can show you live examples of the roadmap that I'm going to follow for you, that I've already followed for my previous clients. And it helped me close more clients. Like if I was in touch with 10 prospects, I was able to close 4 or 5 prospects out of that, when I show real life accounts. And of course, I only show real life accounts when I have the permission from the particular account owner, that hey, can I show this in my proposal, or can I show it to under client as a demo thing. So guys, proposal, even though it is a very trending topic around digital marketing, but honestly, showing live accounts has much more beneficial in closing, is much more advantageous in closing the client than some proposal where you can make changes, or sometimes you can uh, make change to the data. So I hope you guys understood the basic structure of my mindset, how I create a proposal. Once again, I would like to say I'm not a fan of creating uh, lengthy proposals. I try to make the proposals not more than 20 slides, like 20 or 15 in the best case. And uh, and I also try to make sure that I physically present the proposal to the client, instead of just asking him to just sending him over the email. I try to make sure I keep this proposal to myself and call the person over a Zoom call, or over a Google Hangout meet, and try to discuss with him on one, so that whatever questions he has or she has, I can answer them at the same time. So thank you guys. If you have any questions related to how to create a digital marketing proposal, or digital marketing in general, let me know in the comment section. And also, I'm also adding a Calendly link where you can book a session with me for a 15 minutes, totally free, at the moment, to uh, get your answers directly get your questions directly answered by me, over a Zoom or a Hangout call. So thank you so much guys for watching this video, and I hope you learned something from it. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Cheers.